Game started.
Arneman. Okay, Arneman starts with d4. Let's go with d5 here. And okay, he's playing one of these quiet systems with knight f3, d5, knight f3. So this could be, yes, this looks like a Colle system. If it was bishop f4, it would be a London system. So I've been playing c5 against that Colle system setup. Okay, a Colle Zukertort. He's going to fianchetto this bishop. So that's an interesting way to play. It's a slow developing system for white, but you can't overlook the long-term attacking potential here. So let's just keep developing for a moment. If he takes the pawn on c5, you have the check and take back if nothing else. But at some point, you want to move the e-pawn forward anyway. Do I want to? I think this is a good system in which to get the bishop outside the pawn chain. He can't bring his queen out to harass the b-pawn over here. Queen b3 is out of the picture because of his setup. So let's try this bishop g4 and then e3. And I should be able to castle. And right here, when he's blocked the queen's view of the d-pawn, maybe it's a good time to take the d-pawn. And if he takes back with a pawn, then this bishop will be locked in for a while. He'll eventually break out with c5, so it's not like a huge deal. But it will also save me a tempo on this bishop. And I'm going to assume he's going to castle to the king side. So I'm going to set up looking at the king side. Okay, he's hitting this knight and he's hitting the bishop. I wanted to trade this bishop. I just need to make sure nothing bad is happening with this knight here. And then I can castle. Looks like maybe he's going to castle queenside here. I think I will take that back. It looks like he's going for queenside castling after that exchange. So, well, we'll have one of those interesting opposite side castling games, I guess. So I can put more pressure on the knight. He can play f4 to defend it, so that's nothing great. I can take the knight immediately. Takes back with a pawn. My knight goes here or here. Then he defends the pawn. Can play queen to e2. Oh, let's cancel that one. Bad timing. Let's see. Queen e2. And what's the idea with queen e2? I mean, I'm looking at this pawn over here to make it difficult for him to castle. I am maybe thinking of bringing my knight back and pushing forward with f6 and e5, just chase that knight away. So this allows knight to d2. He did castle kingside. Okay. So I think it would be nice to chase that knight away from that square. And yeah, like I said, he can defend the knight, so I couldn't just exchange it. But I could do this. This was definitely an option. And now, can I play e5 directly? Pawn takes, pawn takes, pawn takes. Trade rooks, a check, and then take back. Got a knight, takes. I could take with the queen. I think I can do that. Let's calculate that again. This is important. So e5, pawn takes, I take. He takes. So he's got a pawn there. I take the rook. He takes back. I grab the pawn, and I've got a knight there, defended by queen and bishop. He could immediately play rook to there and pin the bishop. So that's not so great. Do I have a way to defend the bishop? I could bring a rook over to defend the queen. Can he bring more force to bear on that square? Knight here or here? Here. Knight there. And I drop back defending the queen. I just moved the knight defending the queen. Yeah, I think I can play that. Okay. It's a good move to play if I can get away with it. Should be equalizing for me. So Arnemann played very quickly. Do I want to throw in this exchange? You know, I don't have to throw in that exchange, but I guess I want to avoid him taking there at an awkward moment. That's the problem. Somewhere in that sequence, he might throw in a check and distract one of my pieces that's needed to attack this pawn. Yeah, so there, I get that. So he finally paused to think for the first time in the game. I just think it's funny. So we'll see if my calculation was correct. I was predicting maybe knight to, yeah, rook there first. So I have to bring my rook over to defend the queen. And then if he attacks the knight, I can just move it away because my queen is adequately defended, and the best he can do is exchange out here. Then it'll be an endgame. Also, at the moment, his pawn is hanging on a3. Had to defend my knight first, but maybe the pawn will still be hanging at the end. Maybe there'll be something there. So bishop takes knight, queen takes, rook takes, bishop takes. It'll be bishop versus knight on the endgame. Or knight here. I'll just drop my knight back to g3. Unless there's something better, I could look around g6. I mean, that defends the queen, and so I'm safe if I play that. The bishop and rook are defending the queen too, though, so I could consider going elsewhere. Taking the knight with check. Yeah, knight f3, I take the knight with check. Okay, so he moved his king. So I want to unpin immediately, but what's the most effective way to unpin? It'd be nice if I could move my queen and just have a rook opposing his queen, but this rook is under protected here, so that would not be an effective technique. So I think I do have to move the knight. So do I have any great moves with the knight? Knight here, 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 here. Knight here hitting the bishop. If he takes the knight, I take the queen. If he trades queens, then takes the knight, I take the rook. So he has to keep taking. But then at the end, he can take the knight. Yeah, so that doesn't work. Knight there. So maybe knight. Yeah, knight there, the queen just takes it. Does the queen take it? The queen does not take it because then I will take the rook. But no, then he's threatening mate here. Okay, his bishop, the queen there was threatening mate with the bishop if after queen takes there. So, well, this will lead to simplification, but we'll see what kind of endgame we get here. This kind of endgame. This pawn is not hanging. Yeah, his bishop is defending it. So I have one extra pawn island. Okay, and he immediately goes to try and create some weaknesses here. Can't push. He could, I wonder if there's some weird attack on the king here. I don't see it. I can let him take. That would give me a passed pawn. Where's a good square for this bishop? Yeah, let's move the bishop here. Attack his knight. His knight will go to c3, and then yeah, it doesn't seem to do a whole lot. How about the knight? Can the knight go somewhere better? Okay, let's just bring the king forward. If he takes, I'll just take back with a pawn and control these squares here and have a passed pawn. So I don't think he wants to take. He might push, but then I'll take it. He takes, okay? He's got a passed pawn on the outside. That's true. Potential passed pawn. I have an actual passed pawn. And so he's going for that. So I do have to watch out for the king and pawn endgame, which is probably winning for... Okay, have to move the knight and get this pawn off the dark square. His bishop is always looking at that pawn. Okay, he's going to bring his knight forward to blockade my pawn.
Check.
Or he's going to go there with a check, okay. And he's going to hit the bishop and the pawn simultaneously. Oh, that's good. So let's save the pawn. That's not so great, is it? He can continue attacking the pawn. Can I trap the knight in some way? From there, the knight goes to light squares, so the bishop is not so great at defending that. But probably I need to get my king over here anyway. Yeah, so he goes there. So let's get my knight over here.
Check.
He's got that check. And then has another check here.
Check.
And I get my king over here. So let's see if he can make any progress from this point. I want to play my knight to e5 and to c4, hit his bishop and hit this pawn. While my bishop here looks pretty good already, putting pressure on these pawns and making it difficult for them to move. So after knight e5, he can move his knight with tempo to attack my bishop. I can take the knight. He moves his knight with tempo. His bishop is attacking my knight on e5. Oh, well, if he does that, I can move my knight with check. He can't move his knight with check. So we'll see how he responds to this one. I am threatening a fork. And if he moves the king here, there's another fork. So king can't stay on those dark squares, or the bishop could move. King just goes back. Okay, so do I want to go to e3 here? d3 or c4? d3, hitting the bishop. The bishop has to move and has two squares, here and here. But I can't easily get pressure on the pawn in those lines. So let's go with the knight here. And yeah, he wanted to keep defending. So now I can attack his knight. Well, he can move the knight, or he can try and defend it with the bishop. But I was thinking, say, oh, he can't defend it with the bishop, I just take it, so he has to move the knight. So now my king can come forward. King here. He's got a check there at c7. And then I can move my king here. And then grab that pawn. Yeah, he has knight there hitting my pawns. It's always something. Okay, let's go ahead and grab this pawn while I can. And he's hitting the bishop, so let's drop the bishop back. And then we will take here. And yeah, I have to take that. So his pawn is going to run. Let's stop it from running any further than that. So interesting endgame here. He can't defend that pawn. It's interesting. The bishop is covering the two squares that the knight could go to defend that pawn. So I'm just going to march my king forward and take it. He can go after my pawns, and probably should. Yeah, I can't stop him from taking one of those. So let's keep the passed pawn. And then how about if I just run with this pawn? Can his king get over in time? Here, king there. Here, king there. Here. Yeah, the king is in the square. I go forward, king over. I have to bring my king over. So let's see. Push, king, 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 king. And I'm threatening to queen, so he brings the knight in. Then I push with check if he's gone to that square, and then queen. So that looks interesting. And I'm low on time. So let's go for it. Yeah, well, if this works out, this is a nice endgame. The power of the passed pawn. So he's down. I'm down 3 pawns to 1. But this is a check. And I'll queen with check
White
as well.
resigns.
All right, nice game. I will upload this and do a postmortem, and see you guys later. Bye.